Viltrumite War. The Viltrumite War is the central conflict in Invincible between the Viltrum Empire and the growing resistance against its rule. The Viltrumites believe strength gives them the right to dominate weaker civilizations, leading to wars across countless worlds. What makes this conflict different is its scale, as entire planets become battlegrounds. It also forces characters like Mark Grayson to choose between family, loyalty, and morality. Coalition War. Coalition War refers to the long struggle led by the coalition of planets against the Viltrum Empire. Unlike Earth's smaller battles, this was a galaxy-wide resistance involving many alien races working together. The coalition relied on strategy and alliances because they could not match Viltrumite strength directly. This war matters because it proves even overwhelming power can face organized opposition. Flaxan Invasion War. Flaxan Invasion War begins when the Flaxans repeatedly invade Earth through dimensional portals. Their species experiences time differently, causing them to age rapidly outside their dimension, while technology evolves much faster within it. Each invasion becomes more dangerous as they return stronger and more prepared. The conflict highlights how Earth constantly faces threats beyond normal human understanding. Sequid War. Sequid War centers around parasitic alien organisms known as sequids, capable of controlling living hosts. Once attached, they spread quickly and create hive-like armies under collective control. Unlike direct military conflicts, this war focuses on infection and loss of free will. Its danger comes from how silently the threat can grow before anyone notices. Machine Head Conflict. Machine Head Conflict is the criminal war involving Machine Head's growing influence over organized crime on Earth. By hiring powerful supervillains and mercenaries, he turns ordinary criminal activity into large-scale destruction. The conflict reveals how dangerous intelligence and resources can become when combined with superhuman power. It also shows that not every war in Invincible is fought between nations or planets. Lizard League attacks. Lizard League attacks involve repeated acts of terrorism carried out by the Lizard League, a violent villain organization targeting cities and government facilities. Their operations may seem smaller compared to alien invasions, but the damage they cause is often personal and unpredictable. These conflicts remind heroes that constant smaller threats can be just as exhausting as world-ending ones. Mauler Twin Conflicts. Mauler Twin Conflicts revolve around the Mauler twins and their constant attempts to gain power through cloning and advanced science. Their schemes usually involve prison breaks, experiments, or attempts to manipulate larger global events. While often localized, their actions repeatedly destabilize situations around them. They represent how intelligence without ethics becomes a recurring danger. Invincible War. Invincible War begins when alternate versions of Mark Grayson from different realities are unleashed across Earth. Each version possesses the same powers as Invincible, but follows darker paths shaped by different choices and experiences. Cities are destroyed in a very short amount of time because humanity suddenly faces multiple Viltrumite-level threats at once. The conflict is especially tragic because the destruction is caused by twisted versions of the series' own hero, Robot's global takeover. Robot's global takeover happens when Robot decides the world can only achieve peace under his direct control. Using intelligence, advanced technology, and calculated force, he removes threats and establishes a controlled global order. Unlike chaotic wars driven by rage or conquest, this one is built on logic and efficiency. It raises difficult questions about freedom, security, and whether peace achieved through control is truly peace. Viltrumite Purge. Viltrumite Purge refers to the internal civil conflict within the Viltrum Empire that drastically reduced the Viltrumite population. The Empire's obsession with strength led to the elimination of those considered weak, creating a brutal survival culture. This event shaped nearly every major Viltrumite character afterward. It explains why the remaining Viltrumites became both feared and isolated. Battle Beast campaigns. Battle Beast campaigns involve the violent path of Battle Beast as he searches the universe for worthy opponents. Rather than fighting for conquest or politics, he fights purely for challenge and honor. Wherever he appears, conflict follows because his strength overwhelms nearly everyone around him. His battles feel less like wars of ideology and more like unstoppable natural disasters. Thraxa Conflict. Thraxa Conflict takes place on the planet Thraxa when Viltrumite interests begin threatening its peaceful population. Mark becomes involved after discovering major truths about his father and the Empire itself. The conflict feels more emotional than strategic because it focuses heavily on family and responsibility. It marks a turning point in how Mark understands the larger war around him. Scourge Virus Crisis. Scourge Virus Crisis involves a biological weapon designed specifically to target Viltrumite. The virus nearly destroys the Empire by exploiting one of the few weak weaknesses their species has. Unlike physical warfare, this conflict is fought through survival and fear of extinction. Its impact permanently changes the balance of power across the galaxy. Mars-Sequid conflict. Mars-Sequid conflict begins when Sequids spread onto Mars and threaten both Martian society and eventually Earth itself. The Martians attempt to contain the outbreak, but the danger continues growing beneath the surface. This conflict combines alien politics with horror elements, creating tension through secrecy and infection. It shows how even distant events can eventually threaten the entire planet. Reanimen conflict. Reanimen conflict centers around cyborg soldiers created from dead humans through brutal experimentation developed as weapons against superpowered threats. The Reanimen blur the line between science and cruelty. Their existence sparks repeated battles involving ethics, government oversight, and survival. This conflict matters because it reflects humanity's desperation to defend itself in a world filled with overwhelming power.